Welcome back to Trove One, everybody. Today we're doing something a little different. We are standing in our shed because we have no better place to do this, and we're going to talk about. We may do a few episodes of this. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but we're going to talk about hiking stuff, camping stuff, especially in relation to kids. Maybe some gear reviews. I don't know what all we're going to do, but there's some stuff we just want to go over. If you got questions about wanting to do adventures with your kids, feel free to drop them in the comments and we'll try to go through those. Maybe we'll do a video answering questions.
What's that?
There's an animal outside.
Scratching at the door.
We are in the shed, so there's dogs barking and outside noises because we are in our shed. We're going to call this Shed Talks with Josh and Sarah, for lack of a better term. Today, we're going to go over our hiking packs.
Thank you.
And we're actually going to weigh these. I'm really curious. We're going to go over what we carry in these. Obviously, we usually have a kid and they're in bed, so we don't have the kids out here today.
Hopefully in bed.
Hopefully in bed. They should be in bed, asleep. But we're going to talk about the stuff, like we just did a video and hiked Hemden Hollow, which was like 6.7 miles. Pretty good, pretty challenging hike for us with all the kids. And so we've never weighed our packs to know how much we weigh. We know how much the kids weigh, so we got a rough idea. But we've never weighed them to know how much we're carrying on a hike. And so we're kind of curious. And we figured other people might be curious as to some of the stuff we bring and how much it weighs. That's the main thing I'm curious about. We won't go into like depth on all this stuff. We'll just kind of pull out what we have, a replica of what we carried on our last hike in my bag and Sarah's bag, and we're just going to go through them and pull it out and tell you what it is, maybe briefly why we carry it, and then we'll put it all back in, and then we will weigh ourselves without the backpack, weigh ourselves with the backpack, and then find the difference, and then add in the weight of the kid that we were carrying and find out how much our bags weigh. Should be interesting.
You carry more.
Yeah, it
Probably
fluctuates.
pretty close.
Yeah,
actually.
we try to balance things out. Sarah usually carries the lighter kid. I usually carry the heavier kid, and then we kind of distribute the other stuff out as best as we can. Obviously, like water is a heavier item. Anyway, we'll go through all the items and kind of show you what we carry in each bag. So our bags, if you can see it all here, this is the Thule Sapling Elite, and you can't get this bag anymore. They quit making it several years ago. Thule still makes one. There's a lot of the people that make them that make really good backpacks for carrying kids, but this one does have a detachable backpack on the back, storage below. Obviously the kid fits in there, and it's got room for kids' water bottles and some pouches on the front. So we've had these for a long time. It's what we use, and we like them. We've just had them for years, but you can't get this model anymore, unfortunately. So I'm just gonna start pulling stuff out here. Let's see. Candy, because sugar and snacks help keep kids going.
It's
We've
Valentine's.
got some dried fruit. Again, a healthier alternative than candy for some sugar. Sugar helps keep kids motivated and going. Just a little snack on the trail can really change their attitude and help them maintain their energy. They don't maintain and regulate as well, so they have faster highs and lows. And so a little sweet snack can go a long ways. Just like when we were hiking, we gave Gideon a piece of mango, and he went from laser from
Gideon had the same problem though.
yeah, the younger they are, the more they struggle with regulating just their bodies and emotions and everything else, and so it can help. Anyway, we did it on the last hike with a piece of mango, and just changed his whole attitude, and he went from very unhappy to happy, and he wasn't even eating it, he was just carrying it.
Food is available.
Yeah.
Yay.
So dried fruit, something we carry sometimes. Trail mix is always good. Some sweet, salty, some chocolate. Food is important. More snacks. These are some fruit rolls. We actually we got a Sawyer filtration.
Is it a mini squeeze or just squeeze?
I don't know which one it is. Sawyer water filter. Anyway, We actually haven't ever used one yet because we usually just do day hikes and we can usually carry enough water. But we got one so we could carry it and not have to carry as much water because water is really heavy. And so if you're doing a really long hike and you need a bunch of water, sometimes it's easier to not carry as much. If you're going to have water sources where you can get it and filter
Right.
it, it can save you. Anyway.
Which we still didn't use. But
Yeah, we
it
haven't
was
even
handy.
used it yet, but is there in case we need it or an emergency. Then kids' water bottle, because they need something to drink. And our MyMedic first aid kit. This one is
This
probably
window.
a little bigger than we need for hiking. It's got a bunch of stuff in it. It's packed.
Huge
Mosquitoes
mosquito.
are not supposed to be out yet.
They're out.
Um,
No
but-
one had blood in it.
was it mine? This is our MyMedic first aid kit that we carry in our vehicle and on the hikes pretty much all the time. We might get a smaller one for hiking. And
Think it
maybe
weighs too
even
much?
a big, it's just,
Or
it's
just-
fairly heavy for hiking, I feel like. And it probably has a little more than we typically need, but that's what we use.
Maybe.
And then I had a couple water bottles in my bag this last time. They're kind of handy. We have a water bladder in Sarah's, we'll pull that in a minute.
Mhm.
But sometimes we carry water bottles as well. They're easy to fill up kids' bottles out of, or if we need to put some into one of the kids' water bladders. The older kids carry backpacks. They have their own water bladder and sometimes their own snacks or a coat or whatever they might need. But a lot of times we carry a water bottle or two. They're also handy if you need to mix up something like some liquid IV, which we started carrying, and we actually used it on the Hemden Hollow hike. On our way up, we mixed up a bottle and split it just to get us some more electrolytes to help us with that elevation climb. So something else, liquid IV does a really good job, and you can just carry the little packet and then put it in some water. I had a couple of those, and Garmin InReach Mini for emergency communications. We take this everywhere. Haven't needed to use it yet, but if we do, it'll be good.
As long as it's charged.
Yes.
I never think to check it. So you check it, I think.
And lastly, I frequently carry some sort of firearm in my back bag. It just depends on where we're going and what we're doing. But this is, generally speaking, give or take, what I might have in my bag on a hike. And I have no idea how much it weighs. So we'll find that out in a minute. I think that's everything.
I think so.
I'm going to put it all back now. And then you can pull your stuff out.
All right. You do that. Here's some of what I had. Something. So the baby had, whoops, a change of clothes and shoes. We didn't have shoes on her at the time. Diapers, wipes. We carried too many wipes.
Sometimes they're handy though.
Sometimes
If
they are.
there's issues and you need wipes, they can be very
They
handy.
are. We had changing pad.
Yeah, this is super handy. It just,
Might have diapers in it.
everybody probably knows what these are if you have kids, but we can throw it on the ground and change a diaper without having to throw them in the dirt. So they would rather play in the dirt probably. Anyway,
Can't
handy
keep her
little.
on it anyway. Baby stuff. Miss pulling random things. Brought chips this last time for salt.
Yeah, just more food. Lots and
Lots
lots,
and lots
of
of
snacks. Keeps the kids happy. And a lot of times we orient hikes around lunchtime being kind of in the middle at the high point of the trail. So lots of food.
Granola bars. What else? These are really, really light. They're yogurt melts. It's just something that the kid could have. She doesn't have any teeth yet. So we try
Yeah,
to
she's-
accommodate.
How old is the baby?
She's 13 and a half months, so over a year.
Okay. A little over a year. And then so our daughter's a little over a year, and then our son that I carry is 2.5.
A little over 2.5, yeah.
So he's starting to walk a little bit, but he can't go very far.
I mean, he can walk just fine. Just hiking a little bit.
Yeah, it's limited and it's very slow, so he still gets carried quite a bit. But he's in the stage where he's beginning to transition from hiking or riding to hiking. So
Baby's water bottle. For some reasons, I feel like I have more stuff in here somewhere. We had cookies this last time, but they're gone. So that's to
represent the cookies that we had. We had homemade cookies, no bakes with raisins. If you've never done that, it was Sarah's idea, and it was a very good idea.
Yeah,
They were really good.
it was like supposed to be no bake cookies, and then I replaced some of the butter with peanut butter for protein, and then add in raisins.
They were good.
I like my sugar. Did I need to eat? I didn't feel it. Okay. This is frozen. Summer sausage, cheese, crackers. That was our lunch. It's actually our typical lunch when we're hiking.
Yeah, we do a lot of summer sausage, cheese, and crackers. Cheese is high calorie. Summer sausage is a little heavy, but overall, the kids like it. We like it. It works pretty good.
I had the water bladder this time. Normally Josh carries it, but
Yeah, we just
For some
distribute,
reason-
and she
for
ended
some
up with
reason
the water
I
bladder.
decided I wanted it, so I actually carry it this time. And I think carry toilet paper. Not that it really weighs anything. Ziploc bags. We had a child who was also losing a tooth. He wanted to not pull it right before, so I was like, we'll just take multiple Ziplocs.
Bags if there's leftover food. Bags for dirty clothes, if there's accidents, diapers, stuff like that.
Pouch of food, because once again, daughter doesn't have teeth. I don't think there's anything else in this. Nope. That was it.
So, looks like you had more stuff. This
Yes,
last
this
time
is
you had more
fluffy.
stuff than me. So, once you eat a lot of your food at lunch, then it
It
decreases
was
your
gone.
pack.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was good, and we drank most of the water.
Yeah. So we usually just share a bladder, but we can put one in both of ours if we need to. We just usually don't need more than however much one of these is. 2 liters, 2.5 liters. However
No
much
markings?
Is that. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Anyway, we will stick all this back in, and then we're going to weigh these and see how much they are, then add the weight of our kids and see how much we're carrying. I'm curious.
Good.
All right, I'm going to weigh myself without the backpack and then throw the backpack on, and we'll see what the difference is. 158 and a half. 158 and a half. 178.1. Oh, 178.
$135.4. $155.6.
All right, we got our piece of paper here with all our numbers on it. So we got our pre-pack weight, post-pack weight, and then that gives us the pack weight, and then we got the weight of our kids because we weighed them the other day. So my pack weighed 19.6 pounds, and Sarah's weighed 20.2. So hers is slightly heavier on this trip, and like I said, they vary depending on what we're carrying. We just usually try to split it up somewhat evenly as far as the weight of the stuff.
I think typically you take all the heavier stuff.
Well, usually like the water's really heavy and the first aid kit's pretty heavy, and we usually alternate who's
That's
carrying
also true.
that, and then we split up the rest of it. That's usually pretty light.
That's
So
true.
we usually balance it out fairly well, but I usually take the heavier kid. And so I was carrying Eliezer, and he weighs 26.8 pounds. She was carrying Keziah, and she weighs 21.4 pounds. So they're surprisingly close, even though there's a year and a half between them. So that puts my total pack at 46.4 pounds, and Sarah's at 41.6. So mine was a little bit heavier, which is usually how we try to do it. And so I was kind of curious. I thought we would be
heavier actually.
I thought we would be sub 40, but barely. I was thinking between 35 and 40.
All
but-
I know is heavy.
Yeah, it's definitely
Coming
heavy.
out, I felt it.
So, carrying 40 to 46 pounds definitely makes it more challenging. I mean, I don't know what backpackers carry. It's probably somewhere in that range. I don't know if they shoot for a ratio of their body weight to pack weight, or you want your stuff to be as light as possible. We could trim some weight on what we carry. Our first aid kit could get smaller. We could carry less water if we knew we were gonna have water sources.
Mm-hmm.
We could change what food we're carrying and get certain foods, calories to weight ratio could potentially be better. We're not backpackers. We're not going to make recommendations based on that because we're not that into it. We just hike.
Be fun though.
But it's kind of interesting. We've talked about backpacking with kids, just a lot of stuff. Trying to carry, if my day pack is 46 pounds, how do I backpack and carry another, and then all the stuff for 5 kids? I don't know. We'll figure that out one of these days if we feel like it. But very interesting to me to know approximately how much I'm carrying. And then hopefully it's interesting to some of y'all, so that if you're thinking about, we want to go on a hike, when we want to tackle. You don't need that much stuff if you're going on a 1 or 2 mile hike. Then you don't necessarily need all full lunch and everything. You can slim it down, so you may be able to get less. But we have pretty small children, generally speaking. They're not that heavy.
We're not like incredibly large.
Yeah,
so
we're not
genetically.
We're
they're
not
small.
very tall. We're not, so they're just genetically lighter. But that's kind of what we got. Hopefully this has been somewhat informative to you. It has been for us. But if you're thinking about getting out with your kids, do it. Hiking is one of the best outdoor activities, and you can do it with all ages. They can be infants. You can carry them in a front carry. Be a little bigger, and you switch to a back carry, and then before long they're running down the trails outpacing you.
Stop.
That's what our older kids do now. But this gives you a rough idea of some of the stuff you might need, some of the stuff you might want, and approximately what it would weigh. So get yourself a good carrier of some sort, and then wear it, do some short hikes, get it fitted to you as best you can, get it comfortable. And then you just kind of got to figure out, where your limits are. We know our limit is approximately 7 miles as far as a day hike. We could probably go a little bit further depending on how difficult it is.
Yeah.
The furthest we've done with our kids has been 7 miles.
Yeah,
And this last hike was a little less than that. The 7 miles we did was a few videos ago, and a good part of it was bushwhacking through the woods. There's no trail. It was very steep. I think we had like 1,200 foot of elevation gain in that trip as well. So it had a lot of, we went way down and we came way back out. So it was a pretty challenging hike. And at that one, we felt like that was our limit. And then we did Hemden Hollow a couple weeks ago. That was 6.7 miles with 1,460 something feet of elevation gain, I think. And that one felt easier to me, but it was also almost all trail. So I thought it felt easier because we were on a trail, but it was consistently uphill all the way out, which made it challenging.
And so my muscles were cramped up. That's why we pulled out the liquid IV.
Liquid IV helps with cramps and everything. So it's definitely, that was a challenge for us, but we knew we could do it, and it wasn't terrible, but it was a challenge. So just know your limits and stay within them, stay safe, but get out there and do something with your kids and have fun. All right, guys, I think that's all we got for today. Like, subscribe, share with someone that would find this useful information, maybe that's wondering about hiking with their kids. Maybe we can be of some use to somebody. And if you want an awesome shirt, you can get our CCC Camping Plus Children Equal Chaos shirt at 3strandapparel.net. How's that for advertising?
Spain. Divorce.
That's not a word.
I'm pretty sure they use it on Amazing Book.
That doesn't make it a word.
No, it doesn't. It just means it's in my vocabulary.
All right. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. You're weird. Welcome back to Trove One. I'm your host, Josh Sperry, and this is my lovely co-host and wife.
Okay, you're being.
No? Too much?
Yes.
Okay.
They will shrink away and disappear.
And here we have the lovely...
Can you talk normal?
No, I cannot! This is a game show!
Wait. Do we get ice cream after this?
Nope.
Then no. If I start, I'm gonna say howdy. You gotta keep poking it up.
Howdy, y'all. Today we're here to talk about how to hike with kids.
No,
Over to you, Sarah.
Fork, spoon, knife. I got a splinter in my hand. Ow! Literally, I got a splinter in my hand.
I got the first aid kit.
I was just gently placing my
This
hand.
is Rough Sawn, Arkansas cedar.
That it is.
Red cedar. I'm gonna weigh myself without the backpack, then throw the backpack on and see where we're at. The scale's broken.